Yeah.
Thanks for your phone call. Thanks for those interesting points.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. We have another call. Welcome to the show, caller.
I was going through my family album and history album, some pictures left over from old family photos. I have this little tiny picture in there of my great-grandfather on top of a big pile of hemp on a field wagon.
All right.
Other great big piles of hemp around in it, and 3 of his 6 sons helping with this. This is probably around 1917.
This is hemp oil
Salem,
burning
Oregon.
right here, and this is the reason they made hemp illegal. Yeah. So your picture was when, from 1917?
About 1917, I figure.
Was it here in Oregon?
Yes, Salem, Oregon area.
All right. I'd love to see that picture.
My great-grandparents are in the Pioneer Cemetery there. They came over in the covered wagon. They were Methodist ministers, and very, forthright people. They were no slackers or anything. And anyways, I found this really interesting. I hadn't known that before, but I do now.
I would love to see that picture, and we'd love to show it here on our television show.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I'll try to get it into you, okay?
Yeah, just email it to me at dpaulstanford@gmail. That's DPaulstanford@gmail.com. Anybody who wants to drop me an email, there it is. And if you can email me that picture, we'll have it on next week.
All right, sounds good.
You know, here's our hemp twine. This is hemp oil. This is the reason marijuana is illegal. It has nothing really to do with drugs. That's all a subterfuge and a lie. Marijuana, and a smokescreen. I like that pun. Marijuana prohibition is really a smokescreen. It's not about drugs. It's about energy and oil and fiber. It's really about the continued centralization of economic and political control. Right here we have a little hemp wick. This will be our hemp wick next week. What's burning right there is a piece of the little segment we cut off there to make the hemp. This is hemp seed oil. It's a nice kind of golden oil. You can't really get that on TV. There, yeah, you can see it's a little golden greenish oil that you get from pressing hemp seeds. And hemp, when we allow hemp to be cultivated without regard to its THC content, but according to the strains that produce the most seeds, then we will completely replace petroleum. I've done the calculations. 10% of the world's arable land that's used for agriculture today could completely replace all the world's petroleum, and the byproduct would be more than enough fiber to stop cutting down trees, more than enough food to feed all the world's people and livestock. Hemp can really save what's left of our most precious legacy and our most precious inheritance, the life on our little planet. And that's what we really are fighting for. You know, I went in to talk about our Hempstock Festival with the Portland Police just last year, and some young officer there said, well, you guys just want to smoke pot. Haven't you got that now? And I said, no. Legalizing adult use of marijuana was just a step to our real goal, and that's to wipe out the use of petroleum, wipe out clear cutting of forests, feed the world's hungry, and instead of all of our money going to ExxonMobil and the Saudi sheiks and Nigerian despots, it will go to our farmers. Instead of the further centralization of economic and political control, we'll see the natural decentralization of economic and political control as our farmers start to reap the benefits of all these things that are capital intensive. Petrochemicals and clear-cut logging is so capital intensive that only the richest of the rich can participate. Hemp seed production is inexpensive. A couple $1,000 buys you a seed press. You can press your own oil. This seed oil, straight pressed from marijuana seeds, you pour it right into any diesel engine today with no conversion to the diesel engine, and you can turn the car and drive, and that's the reason marijuana is prohibited. So there.
They not really have time to come into our little states. Plus, the Donald loves money, right? And these states are generating a huge amount of tax revenue. And see, there's politicians in those states that are getting the big revenue. And politicians are like flies to manure when it comes to money. And they got all this new revenue coming into their district. And you can bet they're not going to let go of a penny of it. They're not. So
you know what?
We got sanctuary cities where they don't want to help the enforcement federal agents to find the immigrants.
But we definitely have sanctuary states.
They don't want to help. They don't want to help the federal agents when they come in to help find the pot smokers. They're saying, look,
they definitely won't do
they're
that.
your
And
federal problems.
if they do come in and arrest us under federal law, guess what? We go to a jury in Oregon that voted for marijuana legalization. So they aren't going to be able to convict us because a jury won't convict us for following state law.
And our trials will be
it
one
won't
of the
work
last
for 'em.
ones.
I'll tell you, over the years, the thought of the federales coming and putting me away has sent a cold shiver down my spine. Less so than lately. You know, I had a couple of marijuana convictions in my past. If I was found guilty just for growing my medical plants under federal law, I would face life without the possibility of parole. And so that's kind of a scary thing. But I'm not too worried about it today. Okay, first of all, we have fellow here in the audience. Go right ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say they did an event, Hemp on the Hill, that I don't know if a lot of people know about. And Courtney Moran, our hemp lawyer here in Oregon, was there, and she was representing for a hemp association she started. We got some pictures here to represent. What I had her do is I said, hey, Courtney, please bring a hemp flag and deliver this to Donald Trump because we want him to know about hemp and not play like he's going to act like that's not a topic to talk about. Well, he'll get to that whenever, you know, because people really want to know his take on it. And hemp's popping up in Kentucky like they're going to do 35,000 acres on one farm next year. And so there's big things happening, and Rand Paul is the person I told her to deliver it to. I said, give it to Rand Paul and tell him to give it to Donald Trump, and we'll make sure that the Donald knows about hemp and, you know, has our back, because believe me, we'll go down there and lobby.
So
we'll get more hemp stuff in their hands and get them to be on our side.
Hemp Mansfield with Oregon attorney and activist for hemp.
And we'll go to Alabama and get them a hemp flag to Sessions and teach him what's up too, because he just doesn't have any culture. He needs us to hempsters to teach him what's up. Pat him on the back and say, hey, learn about some hemp.
There it is.
Here's Jack Hare's book.
So that's actually your farm, right? Look at the screen.
Well, that was for the nonprofit. We did a little R&D, but
and
basically,
here's Courtney in front of a male.
We're just playing around, not trying to.
This is what, last October?
This was in McMinnville.
In McMinnville?
We did a seed crop, but it's kind of something we want to be careful
And then you
of.
had some guy that produced this. It looks like kind of a scrawny but dank bud with resin.
That's
but this
down
is a
in
low
Sister,
THC
that's in
variety,
Sisters,
right?
Oregon, on a 30-acre hemp farm, and that's a feral hemp crossed with the
What does it mean by
called
number
Auto
72? What does that mean?
That was just he picked out of 400 different ones his favorite one. And it was a cross of a landrace American feral hemp crossed with
so this was a hemp crop. Was it grown for the flowers?
Oh yeah.
So not seeds, and so
that
you
was
made
30 acres
the idea
of
was
all
to make
female.
CBD extract out of this. Is that right?
A lot of farms
And
are just doing
how did that work out for them? Were they able to get a low THC?
Yeah, 30
no
acres.
THC?
30 acres down in
Because
Sisters.
I understand a lot of the farmers in Kentucky, and I know a few of them, had problems with too much THC to qualify as CBD.
Well, the problem that they had is because they're in Sisters and the weather down there has issues.
Oh, I know.
So they did 30 acres. They had to have like helicopters
the Bend
come
area in 2015, and I had issues over in Bend.
But you can do 30 acres. It works. People just don't harvest all their stuff. They leave a
Now,
lot out.
we have a couple of older photos here that you brought in. These are from 1889. And so this is a furniture factory getting a delivery of hemp here in Portland. JB in 1889, March the 10th, 1889, right here in River City. Isn't that neat?
That one, the guy, the third from the left.
The kids look so happy.
Is that you, the guy, the third from the left?
Yeah, I was going right there. That's like
a
my
good
great grandpa. And then here is the furniture store, and you can see they're delivering a truckload full of hemp. This is right here in Portland, 1889. And then here we have another picture of the furniture store, and they're standing on a little mountain of hemp. Now we have a digital photo of a hemp field that maybe we can pull up. We had a fellow, Dave. Hi, Dave. Dave sent me via email a picture from his great-great-grandfather in early 1900, and standing, there it is. a wagon load of hemp, and you can see several mountains of hemp in the background and the telltale hemp stalks left over after they cut the hemp down. This is sometime early 1900, over 100 years ago, with Dave's grandfather. I want to thank Dave for calling in the last couple weeks and sending me this.
All right.
We have a little video we're going to roll now. This is from the Netherlands, and it's from Hemp Flax, which is the largest hemp company in the world. They make auto paneling for Mercedes-Benz and BMWs. They make currency paper and cigarette papers with their hemp fiber. And they were started by a man named Ben Dronkers of Cincy Seeds. He is the largest seller of cannabis varieties. He even created the Jack Herer strain in honor of our mutual friend, long deceased now, Jack Herer. So here is a short little interlingual video from Hemp Flax. Nature wins. Thanks, Ben. All right, so that's from Mr. Ben Dronkers and his family. They've been developing it. I saw, Ben and I both spoke at the Kyoto Hemp Conference in Kyoto, Japan back on July 2nd, along with, I always have to brag about this, the Prime Minister of Japan's wife. The Prime Minister of Japan even posted a picture of us on their website.
And you're forgetting something.
What's that?
That was organized by who? Time for Hemp. Jane Eyre.
Well, Jane
made
Eyre
that happen.
definitely
Time
helped,
for Hemp made
help
that
work
happen.
on it. This was a pretty cool conference. Ben Dronkers was there. We went around to some temples that had hemp shrines. Hemp is sacred to the indigenous religion of Japan, the Shinto religion. Anyway, want to thank him for that, and thanks to Takashi and Jane Eyre and many of the other people there, like Andrea Herman, frequent guest on our show, and many others. But he produced that video. Pretty cool. Now, if you need a doctor to help you get a medical marijuana permit, we have doctors who are standing by ready to help. If you have any of these conditions and you think you want to try medical marijuana, then our doctors are there to help. You can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. We have appointments available every week, and we'd be happy to help you get those permits. So, and if you go to the Cannabis Corner, that gets you a 30% discount. So what are prices like in your stores? Tell me about pricing, because to be honest, I grow 25 different kinds, and I never go and buy anything. I give it away. Why would I go buy something, you know?
Is it still like $30 an ounce?
No. Recreational,
It was never $30
with
an
tax included, would pay from $8 a gram, 25 an eighth, up to $13 a gram, $40 an eighth.
What's your least expensive ounce of marijuana?
Oh, I want to say right in about the recreational would pay about $200 for one of those ounces. I want to say.
Is that Mexican swag?
No, not at all.
So recreational,
we don't
that'd be
carry
30% off, so $140 for a medical patient. Is that
it would
right?
be 20% tax waived, and then we'd give you 10% off of basically the untaxed base price. So it would be something in the vicinity of like $150 to $160 for the card holder.
I see. Okay. So
we are a family-owned and Oregon-born, all of us.
and you
so-
just had to pay all this money to the state for these fancy licenses. First, you had to get your dispensary license, and now you have to get your recreational license. How much money in licenses have you paid out in the
because
past
we
year?
also want to still help medical, we still have to pay the city of Portland for our medical license, even though we're a recreational store. We don't get a refund
How
back
much is
on
that?
It's about
40
$5,000
And is that a
just
one-time
under.
fee?
every year.
You got to pay them $5,000 a year just to help medical patients?
And now because we
switched over to OLCC, we had to pay them again to be a retail shop.
And how much was
Correct.
that?
Again, $5,000.
Another $5,000. So this
And that's just to
fee.
the city. Then we also have to pay the same $5,000 to the state.
So you've paid just in licensing fees
In the last
$15,000.
4 months, yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just
Actually
to buy?
closer to 20.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just to buy a senator?
I'm starting to think so.
There you go. You can buy a senator pretty cheap these days,
it's pretty expensive.
or an agent you can bribe, right?
Well, you don't want to do that.
We're
Kat.
trying to do it by the book, so
Still,
And you've
all
been
right.
through the
doing a pretty
legal
good job.
avenues.
So, again, Casper, why don't you give a pitch for your radio show?
Yes, there is this groovy
brought that
internet
up,
broadcast called Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. You can tune in and find all kinds of great content about the need to end prohibition. Free to download, over 3,000 MP3s, absolutely for you to share with your friends. We have Judge James Gray, who does a program on there. Andrea Herman's on there. We got Veterans Voices, which we've enjoyed having somebody like Jesse Ventura on as a guest recently. So we, again, remind you, you can find us on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and you can put us into your apps, and you can walk around with us in your smartphones and keep up with all of our content. And remember, again, it's all free. Anywhere there is sound found on the internet, we are around to be found. And again, thank you, Paul, for the shameless plug for timeforhemp.com.
And there it is on the screen. Okay, well, that answered a lot of questions, I know. So one more time, tell us your address.
5431 Southeast 72nd Avenue, Portland, Oregon 97206, located right on the corner of 72nd and Southeast Herald.
All right, so if you're interested, you can actually go out there and ask them for some of Paul Stanford's cannabis. You have some of that. I encourage you to do that. That'll show them some love. Be there or be square. Here's Mr. John Cornett with 40 seconds of tunes. Tune in next week. Help us restore hemp.
We are many, we are strong. So many feel so wrong. Giving in so many lies. Doesn't anybody really care why? Can it be that we are right? peaceful through this fight. All we really want to see is humanity set free. We're just one big family.